Thank you very much for being a part of the program today. My name is Dakbo Aruwajwe, and it's no longer news that the governors are back together again. And when I say the governors are back together again, I mean the Nigerian Governors Forum, whereby there was a division two years ago, whereby 16 of them went with Jonah Jang. That's the faction of Jonah Jang, the Plateau State Governor, and 19 of them went the way of Rotimi Amechi. That's the faction that happened. But they came together, which is, I don't know, maybe that's going to put food on the table of Nigerians, but what is of concern to Nigerians really is because immediately when they reached the conclusion that they're going to come together and they have a new chairman, that's Governor Yari of Zamfara State, they immediately wielded the stick of correction that they had to call the Minister of Finance and also the coordinating Minister of the Economy. What happened to $20 billion? That's $20 billion accrued, excess crude oil account from June 2013 to date. That's what we're looking at today, and to help us do this discussion, I have Nii Akishuju, and also he's a journalist. Thank you very much, Nii, for being here. And also I have Comrade Sheyi Gambo, a former national PRO of Pengassan and also convener Good Governance Group. Thank you very much, Sheyi, for being part of the program. But before we talk about these excess, the alleged missing excess crude oil account, the accrued money that should have been in the account, let's quickly look at what is happening in the PDP, the People's Democratic Party. That's the main opposition now to All Progressive Congress. If they after May 20, after May 29th, yeah. And it was a resignation gala yesterday, a double one for PDP, whereby you had the national chairman Muazu resigning, and also the board of trustees chairman, that's Tony Aneni. He also dropped in the towel yesterday. Is this a new PDP coming up, or the end of PDP?
Well, I think it's a step in the right direction. PDP is trying to reinvent itself. I don't know if Nigerians will wait for that, because I don't think the Nigerian populace should wait for the political nexus to be between APC and PDP. I'm also championing or calling for a third force, because I also see APC going the way of PDP, because you can see that many people in APC too are strange bedfellows. They're talking of philosophy, and the Aneni, I think, is high time, overdue for the old man to take a rest.
But they say you cannot just pull the pillar. Aneni is like one of the pillars where PDP
there's no pillar anywhere.
It's
we that make people to be demigods, because one of the reasons that PDP lost out, because is the fact that they could not have a national convention, which has been the tradition of the party. Instead of that, they just endorse President Goodluck Jonathan. Because if you have that, because I personally have a lot of very good friends in PDP, and I know that there are people that can give good visionary leadership for this country, but they were not allowed to have the space. This is the same old people entrenched in the system, and won't let us have fresh air that GED promised us in his first coming. So I think it's right, but I don't think that Nigerians should wait for PDP to reinvent itself. I think other parties too should come up and give purposeful opposition to the incoming government that is going to be led by President Buhari. Okay,
and what do you think? Because Adamu Mazu's situation, we saw it coming. What about Chief Aneni? That's like a surprise to people.
No, it's not a surprise, but I must first say that this is it is not unexpected. Some of us have seen this in the making, in the run-up to the election itself. If you see the disconnects in the campaign, you will see that there was a gap, a lacuna between the party and the campaign organization. There was supposed to be an integrated, focused approach between the party and the campaign organization. But you saw that the campaign was being run by some beings. Entirely. The party was being run by some other being. So there was a clash of thoughts and philosophy, And of course, the implosion should be expected. Immediately after they lost the election, it was blaming Gallup. The campaign team was saying the party was not properly connected to it. The party was saying the campaign team was doing what it's expected. I mean, it was doing what fancies its own thought and mind. But essentially, the problem with PDP had always been the problem of ideology. PDP lacks ideological focus, lacks philosophical underpinnings. So when what drives the PDP, I'm very sorry to say, has been access to power and the material rewards.
But now the game has changed.
So the game has changed. So the immediate reaction will be of anger, of frustration. So rather than collectively coming together and say, okay, how do we position ourselves against this new government? The thing is, somebody had done something to deprive me of my food. That's the base thought, as it were. Now for Chief Aneni, it's not about frustration. It is a continuation of the shenanigan that the PDP is known for. In the last 2 weeks, we've had some elements in the PDP appealing to the outgoing president to come step into the shoes of Chief Aneni as chairman.
Which is expected. Is expected.
It's not expected. It's not.
Obasanjo did it, but it's not
Did it.
expected.
Okay.
It's not.
Now, the reason chairman, BOT chairman, Chief Aneni resigned is that, okay, he's resigning so that there will be vacancy.
Yes, for President Goodluck Jonathan
to come step in. And I can tell you why that is the reason. Why they are doing that is they still believe the president owes some cash, to run the party, because you need a lot of cash to run a party like PDP. So, and you need somebody to look up to in terms of watering the structure, So for them, I think it's a strategic thing. Who holds the money to run the party, as it were, for the next 4 years?
But Sheyi, you said it's like literally means when they say the ram now moves back, it's coming with much power. Is that the case of PDP now? When they come in, when they're going to strike back now, they're going to strike back in a very big way, because one of the chieftains yesterday, I think it was Olisa Metu, I've forgotten, was saying that there's an election coming. The local government election is going to come around the corner very soon, and you're going to see the power, the new power of the PDP very soon.
There's nothing. The PDP wants to invent itself, but I don't see them having the character that is needed. I don't see, if President Jonathan metamorphoses into the BOT chairman. I mean, this is a man that cannot win an election on, real. So what are we talking about? I mean, they need someone like an Asiwaju. They need somebody powerful, somebody that can inspire, the nation, somebody that can talk well. I've seen his interviews. I mean, there's nothing presidential about it until maybe the tail end. So if they're going to make that mistake to make him the arrowhead of the new PDP,
yes,
that means it's dead on arrival.
But what about the merger? They're thinking about, because we need to go to that $20 billion. But let's quickly touch this. What about PDP said the doors of PDP is open for merger, like they're going to restructure. What about a repackaged, a restructured PDP? Won't that be a formidable, opposition for APC?
No, you see, the truth is this. PDP can only be properly positioned if there are obvious signs of weakness and distrust coming from the APC. As it were, Nigerians are on the threshold of a new dawn. And there's this high feeling of expectation,
yes,
by Nigerians coming from the new government. So as it were, what you expect is, or rather, like what I expect is a new government that will do new things. I am hopeful for that. I believe that the federal government that would step in come 29th would commence action and conduct itself properly in a way that the PDP government had not conducted itself in the last 16 years.
Yes.
Now, when the government start doing that, it becomes obvious given the template of performance by the PDP, which is very, very low, because by the time you start counting one or conduct a census of performance by the PDP, you hardly can lay your hands on anything that has impacted Nigerians. Well, some supporters of the government will say, yes, they've done this, they've done that. But as of today, if we do a census of power generation, we were formally informed about 2 days ago by the Minister of Power that power generation had dropped from 4,000 to 2,800, for God's sake.
I thought it was even 2,000.
2,000, Now, if you also now consider how much had been expended in generating power for Nigerians in the last 16 years, and compare it to what we now generate, and also do a comparative analysis to perhaps South Africa, that has commissioned a 9,800 megawatts nuclear power, spending less than $1 billion, spending less than $3 billion. And we had spent on the aggregate close to $33 billion, on power, generating power alone, not transmission, not distribution. Yeah. Then you start feeling, you feel exasperated and you feel annoyed.
I know there's a lot there to discuss, and I don't want to let all the cat out of the bag, because we still want to talk about this tomorrow. But let's quickly go to the main discourse of the day. And that's, in my intro I said the governors are back together now, and I don't know how that is going to put food on the table of Nigerians. And I might be wrong. What do you think? When the governors were divided, the Nigerian Governors Forum, and now that they are together, how does it affect the common Nigerian on the street?
Well, my take is that when they were together, they had their good side. It was like the good, the bad, and the ugly. They had their good side. But if it was basically putting government on check on economic policies, focus, and because that the governors are closer to the people than those in the federal constituency. So you expect them to have more, they feel the pains of the people. So, and they're more accessible. So then it was okay. But when they started playing politics, because it was also a political platform, the governors coming together to blackmail the president. And this is what we want. If we don't do this, we make sure our senators do this, they do that. No president, to be candid, will be very comfortable with that. So it depends on the maturity in which the governors coming together are going to put. If they are going to put the people first before their personal interests and positioning, all well and good.
And what do you think about this? The Governors Forum is one of the major reasons why we had a difficulty in understanding mathematics in this country. Yeah, for real, because when you have 16 being the majority over 19, the kids, even the adults got confused to a point. Now that they are together, will they rectify these faults they've created in the lacuna? Because it's happening in Ekiti, it's happening everywhere, whereby the minority will think, okay, the governors did it, let's do it also.
It also depends on your definition of coming together. I think late yesterday, there was a statement by Governor Jonah Jang that said the Governors Forum is not yet together, that he still leads his own forum.
And in his tenure is expiring, or should have expired.
Exactly. May. No, so for me, I think we should bother ourselves more with the rules of the Governors Forum, as you have highlighted.
Yes.
I think it's essential we take a look at it again. For me, essentially, it's a political gang-up thing, because the only thing you get to hear when the governors are together is when do we share money in the SS Crude account. That has always been consistent, And I was not surprised when, for the first time after how many months that they are coming together, is to question. I am not saying they don't have any reason to question, but I'm saying it should not be the only reason they are coming together. Because it is if they were together on an idealistic platform and they drive, like I said, the interest and the welfare of the people, yes, it will sound reasonable.
But that's not the situation.
That's not the first time they will make something near reasonability. it's that same 2 days ago when the chairman, the outgoing chairman, said they are now going to have leadership academy, Governors Forum leadership academy. Okay, I said,
teach
okay,
the incoming governors how to.
I think okay, that's getting more functional, you know. So it is not a bad idea, but it should be about coming together, exchanging notes. It should be a peer review platform, you know, for governors. It should not just be about piling pressures and all that on the federal government. It should not be a gang-up thing. It should be actually a way of enhancing, you know, the situation, the welfare position of the masses.
Of the people, but you know? It's contrary.
But what I would always prefer is the regional relationship between governors. So if you have Southwest governors, if you have South-South governors, and they have a collective focus on advancing the economic and political, the economic situation in their region, the better for us.
Like the APC governors are doing the regional integration.
Regional integration.
Oh, let's talk about this excess crude account, $20 billion. It's just, is it an allegation? You don't remember, Amechi has said before, I think it was $5 billion, and they called him to order that Mr. Man, even Rivers State took a whole large sum of this money, and we told you kept quiet then. Is it like a deja vu coming up now?
Well, it is that money has not been shared. Basically, why do you have the excess crude account? In 2005, the Obasanjo regime felt that, you know, we should not allow the microeconomics outside, you know, which was affecting our budget expectations. So when you have, okay, you've budgeted for let's say $60 per barrel, then in the international market you're now selling for, let's say, $80. So that is $20. $20. So you keep that in case there's any other problem, if there's a dip, so that you can now use that one to cushion, you know, the effect, and you now pay. Okay, now many states cannot pay their salaries. These are what you expect this money to be doing. So, and you remember then that in 2005, I think we were able to keep about $1.5 billion. 3 years later, 2008, it doubled to $20 billion. Then 2 years after that one, the thing dipped to $4 billion.
Depleted, yeah.
Yes, because those are the issues. So the governors, there is a lot of it. There are a lot of projects. There are a lot of contractors, you know, so you can understand that there's total chaos out there. And this money has not been shared. And, you know, the governors are crying. They want to know.
Normally, what do the governors use their money for?
You see, I've asked that because I spoke to one of my friends today, is that basically, you know, I would say that there have not been any effective, when you're talking of the excess crude account, after the receipts have been sent to the states, you know, it's the commissioners that should be held accountable. But, you know, so many things have gone wrong under the watch of Mr. President. There was a time that the National Economic Council were not meeting constitutionally. The, the vice president is meant to meet all the commissioners, you know, all the governors, and some ministers to discuss the economic trust and to redefine it and advise the president appropriately. So for months on end, for years on end, they were not meeting. So, you know, when you put all these things together, you know, we have a monster in our hands today.
A big one.
A big one in our hands today.
And because according to the special advisor for Madam Minister, that's Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, Paul Nwabuku, he was saying that but these guys, your commissioners in each of these states, they come around for the Federal Account Allocation Committee meeting, FAC meeting. And is it that the commissioners don't brief you? The monies have been distributed a long time ago. Is it that the governors are crying wolf now? Where is this lacuna coming from?
Well, let me just quickly make inject a little bit of humor. We're talking about 20 billion excess crude account. 3 or 4 days ago, we had about $20 billion waivers by the Nigerian Investment Promotion Council, the basis on which the DG was sacked. Of course, we are also resurrecting the $20 billion NNPC.
NNPC, yes.
So I think it's a $20 billion benchmark now for Nigeria. Well, it's not unfortunate, but I think facts should be respected. There is no way money will be spent, you know, that details will not be availed the governors. if 20 billion had disappeared like that, and the governors are saying, the 36 states governor, I want to believe,
yes,
by consensus, agree that something is missing in the SS crude account. We should also look at it with some bit of curiosity, you know, because one, I think the average governor is a reasonable person, and you can start defining what a reasonable person is. Now, I was not happy with the response of the spokesperson for Madam Finance Minister. You don't exacerbate issues by responding in such debilitating words, you know, for people of that nature, you know. And the fact that he agreed that perhaps they were not aware of the expenditures or the allocation of this money because the Economic Council had not met since May 2013. And that also speaks so much about who our president, the outgoing president, is.
Because they should be meeting.
At least twice,
yes.
at least constitutionally, at least twice a year. You know, it would seem as if this president just went to sleep on his duties. I'm sorry to say, you know, because at that meeting, you discuss all aspects of finances, you know, as it relates to the country. Up till now, we still have issues with the sovereign wealth fund, you know, the $1 billion that the governors are saying, look, you cannot just behind us decide to invest $1 billion. It belongs to all of us, and they have a right to say that. It must be by consensus, because constitutionally, any money that goes into the federation account must be divided given the constitutionally guaranteed allocation. You know, so if they are saying, look, $20 billion is missing, it is this money that I now read that the finance minister had made a commitment to publish figures.
Yes.
Said, okay, so publish the figures, let's see. Because I had actually witnessed the FAC meeting 3 times. And I know that, yes, they discuss all manners of things. In fact, upon there was a particular FAC meeting that the state commissioners worked out because they believed money that were supposed to be remitted to the federation account, especially by the NNPC, had not been remitted.
The problem is, you see, a lot of indictment, according to me, a lot of indictment on the hands of even the ministry itself. Because if all these were left in the open, or they have been in the open, now the Minister of Finance say, don't worry, we are going to reel out everything, you're going to see it. Why is it that we cannot see before? It's only when allegations come up that it's okay, we're going to print out the details. And also, how is it that what's it called again, that they met 2 years ago?
The National Economic Council.
Yeah. How? There's a whole lot going on.
That's one of the issues I have with the Minister of Finance. I respect her a lot, you know, her pedigree, and I was expecting that there's some things with your exposure with the World Bank you shouldn't be taking. I have expected that she would have left this government years ago, but here she is. She's still, you know, there. You know, these things that, you know, are appalling are being done. You know, fake. They are not meeting. Then I knew that because that's why you look at it, that the personality of the president matters. When Okonjo-Iweala worked with Obasanjo, she was eulogized, she was celebrated.
Because of Obasanjo
because of the way, yes, because of that symbiotic relationship, he allowed her to express herself. He made sure that he covered her from the wolves, from the governors that might want to harass her. You understand? To focus on the job she was called for. But the same Okonjo-Iweala working under a Jonathan. Look at what is happening.
But every time you mention Okonjo-Iweala in front of the pages of the newspapers, or every time, but she comes up with one excuse or the other, and everybody keeps quiet, like she knows everything, and she's telling you, I am doing the right thing. Like we've asked her, in Nigeria broke several times, she's been telling you several times, Nigeria is very, very fantastic. But now we have to tighten our belt.
I said it with all due respect that talk is cheap. Nigeria is buoyant, the economy is going, you have rebates and everything, and we are going home hungry every night. I mean, what are we talking about? At the end of the day, it has to translate to the welfare of the masses.
But the welfare of the masses again, because I thought they wanted to protect the welfare of the masses when we had the Sovereign Investment Authority, whereby, you know, these funds, even the excess crude account was, okay, let's do it this way. Let us put some in the future generation account,
Exactly.
infrastructure
Idea,
account, and the stabilization account. The idea was good, but the accomplishment of this idea, is it that when we go to this future generation account now, we will make some money there?
No, the sovereign wealth fund is designed in a way that it has multiple departments. Part of it is for future generation. Part of it is for infrastructure and all that.
Yes.
Well, what they are saying is, okay, we invest $1 billion over a period of 24 or 36 months. We expect so much, and that this much would be, from this we'll save for the future. From these we can finance infrastructure. From these we can finance health and all that. That's how it is. But the truth of the matter is, enough consultations were not made with the governors, because the governors were also part owners, of the federation account. So you cannot just unilaterally take $1 billion. It was supposed to start off with $1 billion. It's a beautiful idea. But again, in a democracy, a beautiful idea is functioned on consultation. It's functioned on consensus. If there was no consensus, I mean, how do we go? But even worse than that is the fact of distrust between the governors and the presidency. And the funny thing is, you had more PDP governors at that time than opposition governors. So it was like, even within the party, the governors didn't trust the president. And what you needed to do as president was to call the majority of governors that belongs in your party and talk to them. Explain this thing to them. It will make sense. You can even tell them to also raise their own standard by doing the same thing. Because why we find ourselves in problem today is that we have eaten with our 10 fingers.
Eating the ones for the generation to
come. The interesting thing is that Nigeria had made more money in the last 5 years than we made since 1914.
Because of a windfall.
As a matter of fact, since 1914, the money we made between 1914 and 1999 is still a far cry to the one we made between 2009 and 2015.
And Yemi Oshibajo is saying Nigeria's economy now is the worst ever. Even though we have made so much money of recent.
Now we are crying.
But you see, the good thing about democracy is that at least we can talk and we can hold people accountable. When we had the oil windfall during IBB, what happened? At least this one, we know for wherever the money is, we will trace it. But with the one of the $3 billion or how much we got during the Iraqi war, it's nowhere to be.
$12 billion.
Are you really serious about tracing it? Because we brought the forensic here to trace that NNPC money. We can't still find it.
Well, you know, there's a new sheriff in town.
Okay,
and
okay.
Even no matter where you bring foreign reporters for, they're human beings. You can, and as we also have the firm that audited said that some books were not shown to them, and
yes,
which is standard practice.
Most books.
So it's garbage in, garbage out. As long as the parameters are not well defined, professionally. But I say that the foreign wealth fund is a very laudable thing, because what we have in countries like Nigeria is that our natural resources are what we just export, and every time you remove or you sell something out of it, it's depleting.
But it's laudable. It's laudable. It's a very good idea. But will the money remain inside our place? That's the problem. That's the question.
That is the idea. Because what I think the idea of the government was even that while the the sovereign wealth fund is being done, that we will gestation the what's it called, the excess crude account, because this one, anytime the excess crude, either the governors need it or not, you see some governors already agitating, give us our money, give us our money. Yeah, so you cannot even keep that money for, when there is, for the rainy day. You
but that means, because yes, that's the same question I was asking. Because this excess crude account really is to insulate the economy from external shocks. But now we're receiving all the shocks from everywhere.
This is
the excess crude, but this is the time it was meant, the excess crude account
exactly, to even come out,
but it's
and
not
say.
really.
But at the end of the day, how much do we even have there?
Half there left.
How much do we have? Because even when we had plenty there, when we didn't need to, the governors were arguing that give us this money, give us this money.
So let's clarify something. The truth of the matter is the allocation formula for the Nigerian Federation is highly skewed. The federal government takes 52% of what we are talking about. And 36 state governors takes less than 38%. 36. So when you divide that percentage by 36, what goes to each of the states? And then the rest, the ecological fund, the local government and all that. But the bulk of that account or the bulk of that money goes to the federation, to the federal government. So if we are talking about profligacy, as it were, it is the federal government that we must face. So even if the excess crude account was divided, it's the federal government that actually took the bulk of it. So who should be held responsible?
And what does the federal do with its own part of it?
That is the big question. Now, if the federal government says, look, out of our own 52 billion, we are going to invest so much as a sovereign wealth fund. No, the governors don't have any right to that 52%.
Well, one of the things I am saying against that, we can be, this debate here and there, but if the foundation is not right, because our federalism is inverted.
And that's where I was going to.
The federalism is inverted because when the South states say that we want a bulk of what you are taking from us to administer it, the same all Nigerians say no, this thing belongs to all of us. So that gives the central government, the government at the center to be playing, hide and seek.
But if Rivers is getting a big portion of that money also, and Rivers is an oil producing state, so they're getting maybe after Lagos they're getting
is it
much.
Is it enough with
Seriously,
the duplication of the ecology there? You see, is when they don't have fuel again. When the crude oil is not being sold again, that's when we know what has happened to this place.
But now, because in continuance of what we've been discussing on this program from Monday, we're looking beyond oil, alternative to getting our income from oil. Because now that the oil is not.
This is a window for governors to be creative. You see, all these things are for years now. This is the windows for governors to come out and be creative and empower themselves and invest in what generations of university graduates that are there, their citizens can start doing. This is the time for states to look inward. I serve the Niger State. Anytime I go to Niger State, I'm always crying because Niger State has no reason to be poor.
Any state in Nigeria,
I can just tell you Niger State
no reason.
because potholes and everything. This is a state that has about 21 unique tourism locations.
So that will break the jinx of this feeding bottle federalism, whereby the governors have to go wait for the federal government. Where's our own portion of this money?
It's also a profound issue because the Constitution allows the federal government ownership of mineral resources anywhere in Nigeria. And I think that has been the major bane for what we call this derivation thing, As far as I'm concerned, if something is found in your backyard, you should have bigger access to it than any other person anywhere. And I think the major problem we have now is that other regions or other states in the country cannot yet exploit those vast resources they have. And I can tell you any state in Nigeria has so much resources to play around with. But unfortunately, the federal government has a lock-on it. You cannot, as a state, independently commence exploitation, even exploration of your resources. You still have to wait for the federal government to do it. Up till today, Nigeria don't have a map. And when I say map, it's not just about locating your resources. It is also understanding the carrying capacity of the resources in your state. So you have to wait for the federal government to do this for you. And the way it is, once resources is found somewhere, everybody believes that is our own. Because it is also federal government money that was used in exploring and exploitation.
Let me have a caller from Borno State, Ibrahim. Good morning, Ibrahim.
Good morning. How are you?
Fine, thank you.
Now what program currently now?
Say that again, Ibrahim.
I'm watching the program.
Yes, you're live. Can you tell us your contribution, please?
Yes, my contribution is that I want to thank. My contribution is that You should please let the government know their mistakes so that they correct the future, please.
You have to say that again. Ibrahim.
Yeah, they have to correct the future so that this thing will not happen again.
Okay, thank you very much. I can hardly understand what you maybe try and call back, please. The line wasn't the best. Thank you very much.
Even VAT, that Lagos is about 70% of our VAT is derived from Lagos. We can't use it for ourselves. It has to go to federal. They now look for under formula and send it. And states that are not, that even some of the elements of the VAT that Lagos, their religion frowns at it, they're enjoying it.
But this is the best avenue, because you remember APC started, they look into the implementation of a policy, road, they maybe like a little bit of roadmap for them also. Shibajo made mention of the fact that Nigeria's economy is currently perhaps the worst in the history of this country. He said the local and international debt stands at $60 billion, and our debt servicing bill for 2015 is 958 billion naira, which is about 21% of our budget. A lot. And he mentioned the fact the states cannot even pay.
Two-thirds of states in Nigeria
cannot even pay salaries.
Now, is it what makes that even more sad, unfortunate, is the fact that this.
Can I quickly involve Olanrewaju, okay, and I'll come to you immediately. Sorry about that. He's calling from Abule Egba. Good morning, Olanrewaju.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir.
You see, once you begin to feel the fundamental problem that we have in this country, resource control. You see, it has lingered too long in this country. I like the gentleman in the suit. God bless you. You see, we need to start exploring. We need to explore our land. We all put mind on the center. Federal. It's like time we start looking for ourselves. Okay. That's when we start deriving, solutions.
All right, and thank you very much, Olanrewaju. Because we're talking solutions now. That's one of it.
That's the solution.
Do you want to add more?
We still need a sovereign national conference, either we like it or not. There must be a point. Yes, we know we have structures of government in place.
Sovereign national conference.
Yeah,
but
yes,
we did that. We were on the round table of recent.
All those ones were drama. We just play into the gallery. We are not serious about it. You don't conduct a conference of selected people. A conference must actually be representative of interest and people in the real sense of it.
Not selected.
Not selected. Those were just a body of proposals, taken to the president, and the president will now pick some and take to the National Assembly.
Talk show.
It's not sovereign. A sovereign national conference must be a consensus of everybody, because now we know that our constitution, it will take a while to perfect it. So we must take an immediate action to start rebuilding the federation. So
one of the immediate is this sovereign national conference.
And you see the implication is this: when you have a sovereign national conference, it's a once and for all act. The next step is that to do it, you need the National Assembly to surrender its power for a particular period of time for the purpose of acceptance of the proposals by the people, such that it is the voice of the people that determines the direction of states.
And that should be immediate, according to you. I have a local from Agege. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Yeah. I need to look for Mark. I'm calling from Agege.
Okay, thank you very much. Your contribution, please.
Sir, I really appreciate your effort in this program. And first of all, I want to say that this present administration is not sincere. Good luck is not sincere in running the affair of this country. I must say this one. First of all, the issue of the food assets account is worrisome, because if you look at when the issue arrived, when the former Nigerian governor raised the issue, the government then was denied. But now the money is coming back.
Okay.
That is why I say it is not sincere.
Okay. Thank you very much, Oloko, for your call. And Shay, let me go to you now. They said the first thing they need to do really is just we need to come to a proper table and have a proper discussion. And after that, we should think about, you were saying that we should think about, give the person that is, the hen that lays the golden egg should be taken care of first before we think about something
those are
else.
all the issues that will be discussed, in what he's proposing. It's very hard for me to contravene what he is. He was a student union president of my school way back in the 80s, and I entered in. So if my guy is talking, I just have to, I don't know if it's endorsement. I agree. I concur. But you see, my case is that I don't see how it will be workable because of the interests for us to suspend the activities of the National Assembly. I don't think some places will not be very happy with that. I know once when you are talking of this Sovereign National Conference, I know the North where I come from, I've always been very suspicious of what it's all about. But I guess, we can also do it, we can start the process from platforms like the Governors Forum. We can start the process from even the National Assembly that this is what Nigeria is, just to pass a law. If they are sincere.
I beg your pardon, can I interrupt you and take for me, but for good morning for me.
Good morning. I want to contribute to your program.
Feel free, please.
Please, I want to put your contribution on the issue of the governor that you complained that they were asking for more money from the federal government concerning the Crude account. You can't really blame them because I remember Governor Ministry of River State came on board and said that whenever they share money on a particular occasion, when they come and share, money was the money was reducing without their knowledge. That's why they bear their mind and they don't want to say, let's be sharing. As soon as you share certain amount before you come the next following month, you discover that part of the money has disappeared. Money will disappear without explanation. It's not their fault. You can't really blame them. That's why they have people make it head. When the head is bad, definitely every other thing will follow. That's just what I want to contribute.
Thank you very much for me. Thank you for that. Accountability and transparency.
Yeah, all what you're talking about is that. Because even when they were talking about this NIPP thing, I think there was I don't know if it's 20 billion again that they said was used without the governors knowing about it, without them, agreeing, because there's no way you remove such money from the excess crude account, Marketers are also paid for these things at times,
Yes,
so you can't do all these things and you don't tell the governors, and all these funds are, they are contributing. So it's very unfortunate that's where we are. But
very really. But let me. I'll come to you now, Nii. But let me take Justice calling from Agege. Good morning, Justice.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
I greet every one of you there.
Good morning, sir.
You are doing a very beautiful job over there.
Thank you very much.
You see, I want to ask one question. Can these people who drench this treasury can be probed?
Oh, can who be probed?
Huh?
Can who be probed?
These people.
Those who drench the treasury of this country.
Okay.
Can
Okay.
they be probed?
Okay.
Then why not pick them one by one and bring them to the table and tell them to release the money for Buhari to use?
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. A new sheriff in town. Maybe a sheriff can take everybody to the table.
Well, I don't think it will be the major business of that sheriff, but there are structures and institutions.
But
in
let me
place to
ask,
handle
where
that.
will he? Because some people said the best way for President Muhammad Buhari
PMB.
to get PMB to get money now is to go collect the money from those people that have stolen our money.
It will naturally
because we are practically we don't have anything. We cannot even borrow.
It will naturally happen, It will naturally happen, and it's about structure. He promised that it's not the responsibility of the president to institute pro panels everywhere. We have the EFCC and the ICPC. What you need to do is to talk to the Constitution. Strengthen the EFCC and the ICPC. It's even taking the SFU and making it stronger, place them on first line charge on the consolidation fund, which means that they take their budgets to the National Assembly for approval. And once the budgets are approved, they can expend. They are not responsible to the president.
They'll be so independent.
They'll be so independent.
Let me take
judiciary.
And the judiciary.
I have a
Tribunal.
caller from
Tribunal.
Kano, Austin. Good morning, Austin.
Hello, good morning. Good to join you this morning. This is Austin calling from Kano.
Thank you, Austin.
Well, I want to say that the governors that are complaining, they are supposed to have savings on their own, even within their state. They are supposed to generate revenue within their state. So what are they doing about that? And then when you look at the federal government, there is this custom unit that generates revenue. Where does it go to? The VAT, the FIRSC, the revenue they generate, where does it go to? Because we understand that the custom have been able to overshoot their targets, in terms of income generation. Why is the federal government heavily indebted? Can't these revenues be used to boost the infrastructure and reduce the debt burden of the country? There's so many agencies of government that is generating revenue. Why is it not reflecting in the overall financial position of the country? So many things need to be put right,
All right,
before we can get out of this dog puddle.
All right, thank you very much. I'll
We
let you
can
finish
extend
now.
that.
And I will go
we
to
can,
Austin.
we can actually
because
extend
these
that,
people they get the income from the monies, the
IGL.
ones they even the custom IGL. Where does the money? We are indebted more than ever.
Yeah, what we need to do is also to background it with the fact that this the Yaradua Jonathan government, because we need to pair them, actually inherited more than $44 billion, from the Obasanjo regime, as a matter of fact. Now, by the time Jonathan was coming in, I think Yaradua borrowed some $2 billion.
So we have like 42.
So 42. So what we are saying essentially is that as at the time this government was going to put in place, it had a zero, more or less zero debt profile, international profile.
And now we have how many
and now we now
billions?
have $60
$60
billion dollars, and inherited more than $40 billion. You get it? And all the index of all the vital indices of economy are pointing down and shouting, screaming, right, everything. Even we borrowed internally, we borrowed externally. Can I quickly get Olaniro from Ikorodu to join the conversation? Good morning.
Hello, good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir.
Yeah, I really appreciate your program along with your guests there.
Thank you very much.
It's a very great job. Please, what I just want to check in, I think most of the money recovered from Abacha looks gone. We had the money. Are the money not invested in the economy, at least to reduce the debt or for the infrastructure? We have not been hearing anything, but we just hear that Switzerland, they return some money to Nigeria. We had the money. We just hear it on here and on the papers. We are not hearing anything further. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Olaniro. And that's compounded to it because enough of Abacha's
we are collecting from Ibori.
Yeah, where are all these monies really?
I can also extend that. The most unfortunate aspect of it is when a government fails on redeeming its bond, then there is it is an indication of danger, in the economy. Unfortunately, the outgoing president is not available to take responsibility and action for this thing. There's what you call, I think, a federal government bond that was targeted at housing. When housing for government officials were monetized, the federal government went to the Nigerian public to raise funds to fund that monetization. And I think it's a 7 years bond, a 7 years period bond. Now, the bond is due. The federal government has not been able to provide fund to redeem the bond. It is the worst case of breach of trust by any government anywhere. We are talking of federal government bond, for God's sake.
Let me have a caller from Niger State, Garuba. Good morning. Your last caller.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Garuba.
Okay, sir. My question is that I want to ask your colleague there to whether they know our actual foreign reserve now.
Our foreign reserve. What's the foreign reserve?
29 billion, 29 point something billion.
That's the only thing we've got left.
Yes, now. Actually, it was saved by the policy of the CBN that was recently made. That rather than
under Sanusi.
Emefiele. It was actually running down. Yeah. So it was a desperate thing. We moved from the wholesale Dutch sales and the retail Dutch sale thing, where we just every week or 2 weeks we take from our foreign reserve, provide it, and people just come and make a meal out of it.
We don't have much time again, but if the government of President Goodluck Jonathan had continued for another 4 years, maybe it would have had time, according to the argument, to fix all these blunders, economic blunders we're facing now. Maybe I even have time to
I disagree with you 100% on that. Because Yorubas have a saying that is how you can know how the day will be from the morning. You know, the government have not been sincere on so many things. Because when you're talking of discipline, when you're talking of transparency, the government is not there. I mean, you have ministers that have been indicted on corruption. You still see them there until we are almost going to the streets and nothing has been done. We have people that we have been talking about the round tripping of that we went on strike for subsidies for. Nobody has been prosecuted. It's under this government that EFCC came out and said that they were underfunded. You know, so the indices are there that would have run this country aground. But that doesn't mean that General Buhari or President Buhari has come. You should now say that the thing is spoiled, because that's why we voted for him to come and fix this thing.
So you shouldn't give us excuses. And what do you think? If I had given them 4 more years, they would have fixed it?
No, don't think about it. Nigeria would not be as it should be. You know, under 4 years, another. I don't want to even think of it. I'm sorry. For me, because again, I had so much hope. You know, in the Jonathan administration when it started. You know, coming from the background, they had enough experience for God's sake. We've never had a president who had been deputy governor, vice president. But that is understudy. You know, it is what is recommended for anybody, that you understudy the structure. And you got to the climax, and he had no shoes, which means he had a connection with the masses. Yeah. So it means that this person should run. But unfortunately, he slept on the duty, he slept on the job.
But we have the same hope for General Muhammad Buhari, or President Muhammad Buhari.
Well, I think singularly what has driven President Buhari or President-elect Buhari for now is his track record, is about his integrity. And what we need now first is the cleaning of the environment, our psychological environment. It has been so impugned, it has been so bashed, you know, by all the amenities, the brazenness, the impunity, you know, of this outgoing government.
How time flies. We would love us to discuss this for hours to come, but we need to leave this podium very, very, very soon. Niyi Akishiyu, thank you very much. A journalist, and also Comrade Sheyi Gambo, a former national PRO Pengasen and convener Good Governors Group. Thank you very much for being our guest today. And that's our package for today. Do join us tomorrow for another interesting edition. My name is Dakbo Aruajwe. Bye for now.